What if your energy, confidence, and performance weren't just a matter of chance, but of nutrients? What if you discovered that some of the most frustrating issues in your life, low libido, weak erections, fatigue, even poor mood, were linked not to age, not to stress, but to something as basic as a lack of key vitamins? What if one small deficiency could be the invisible roadblock standing between you and the kind of intimate life you used to enjoy or want to enjoy again? Today, we're revealing the 9 essential vitamins that every man needs to maintain strong, lasting erections. Vitamins your body may be silently begging for right now. You'll learn how each one impacts blood flow, testosterone, nerve sensitivity, and energy, and what happens when you're running low. But more importantly, you'll find out what to do about it, starting today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next health tip that could change your life. Let's get into this, because if there's one thing you deserve, it's to feel fully alive, powerful, and connected. But here's something most men don't realize. A lot of what we think of as just getting older is really just your body running low on fuel. And when we talk about fuel, we don't just mean food, we mean the actual raw materials your body needs to perform its core functions. That includes something as critical as an erection, which isn't just about desire or stimulation. It's a finely tuned process involving blood flow, nerve signals, hormones, and muscle response, all of which depend on very specific vitamins and minerals. If even one of those systems is lacking support, things start to break down. And here's the kicker. It doesn't take a major deficiency. Even a mild drop in certain nutrients can mean the difference between a strong response and frustration. So let's talk about what's actually happening inside your body. Imagine you're about to be intimate. Your brain sends a signal down your spinal cord, triggering the release of nitric oxide in the blood vessels of your penis. This nitric oxide causes the vessels to dilate, increasing blood flow. Then, smooth muscles relax, allowing the blood to rush in and create firmness. That whole process relies heavily on just a few key nutrients, and most men are walking around with deficiencies without even knowing it, because the symptoms start slowly. Maybe you notice less morning wood. Maybe you feel more tired during the day. Maybe your sex drive isn't what it used to be. But those small signals are your body's way of saying something's off. And one of the most common culprits is vitamin D. We all know it as the sunshine vitamin, but few people realize how tightly it's connected to testosterone. Low vitamin D levels have been linked in multiple studies to low testosterone, and testosterone is the fuel behind male desire, erection strength, and stamina. One study published in Hormone and Metabolic Research found that men with higher vitamin D levels had significantly higher testosterone. But here's the problem. Over 40% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D, and the number goes up in men who spend most of their time indoors or live in northern climates. So even if you think you're fine, your blood work might say otherwise. But it's not just vitamin D. Let's say you're doing all the right things, working out, eating clean, even taking a multivitamin, but you still feel like your energy is stuck in second gear. That might be a sign you're missing B vitamins, especially B3 and B12. These are crucial for circulation and nerve health. Vitamin B3, also known as niacin, helps dilate blood vessels by improving nitric oxide production. In a study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, men with moderate to severe erectile dysfunction who supplemented with niacin showed significant improvement in erection quality. And vitamin B12? It supports the production of red blood cells and helps maintain the sheath around nerves, basically keeping the communication between your brain and body smooth and fast. And speaking of communication, your nerves need to be responsive. That's where vitamin E comes in. It's a powerful antioxidant, protecting the delicate tissues involved in sexual function from oxidative stress. Think of it as a shield against the wear and tear that comes with aging and environmental toxins. Oxidative damage in the blood vessels and nerves can limit blood flow and sensation, making it harder to get or keep an erection. But when vitamin E is present in adequate amounts, it acts like a defense system, preserving sensitivity and keeping the machinery working smoothly. Let's not forget vitamin C, famous for its immune-boosting power but also a major player in blood vessel health. Vitamin C strengthens the endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels, and supports the synthesis of nitric oxide. The better shape your blood vessels are in, the stronger your blood flow. In fact, poor vascular health is one of the top hidden reasons men start to struggle with erections. You may not even have heart disease or high blood pressure yet, but if you're not getting enough vitamin C, your arteries might already be less flexible, limiting performance before symptoms show up anywhere else. Now, what if you're doing everything right on paper, but still, your stamina's low, your drive is down, and your mood is off? Zinc may be the missing piece. Zinc is essential for testosterone production and male fertility. Studies have consistently shown that low zinc correlates with low testosterone, and low testosterone, as we know, impacts everything from libido to erection strength. But zinc isn't just about testosterone. It also helps regulate prolactin, a hormone that, when elevated, can interfere with sexual performance. Foods rich in zinc, like oysters, red meat, and pumpkin seeds, can be powerful allies, but supplementation is sometimes necessary if your levels are truly low. And let's pause for a second. How many of these vitamins do you know you're getting enough of? Have you ever tested your levels? Most people haven't. That's why we see so many men walking around tired, distracted, and dissatisfied, blaming work stress, age, or just bad luck, when in reality, the issue might be as simple as a vitamin gap. Then there's magnesium, a mineral with massive impact. It's involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, including ones that control blood flow, muscle function, and energy production. Low magnesium levels can lead to poor circulation, muscle cramps, and even anxiety, all of which can interfere with sexual performance. And magnesium plays a direct role in converting vitamin D into its active form. So even if your vitamin D levels look okay, they may not be working for you unless you also have enough magnesium to activate them. And if you've ever felt irritable or had trouble sleeping, that might be your body asking for magnesium. Because without restful sleep, testosterone production drops. And without testosterone, the whole chain of events that lead to a strong erection slows down. That's how interconnected these vitamins are. It's not just about one nutrient, it's about the synergy between them. But now comes the big question. Even if you know which vitamins matter, how do you make sure your body actually uses them? That's where vitamin K2 becomes critical. Vitamin K2 directs calcium to the bones and away from the arteries. Why does this matter? Because arterial calcification, stiff, inflexible arteries, is one of the most overlooked factors in erectile dysfunction. If your arteries are stiff, they can't expand and allow enough blood in. But when K2 is present, it helps keep those vessels supple, youthful, and responsive. So what happens if you're low on just one of these? Maybe your testosterone starts to drop. Maybe your blood flow becomes restricted. Maybe your nerves don't respond as quickly. And together, those little declines create a big difference in how you feel and how you perform. But the best part? These changes are often reversible. Supporting your body with the right nutrients can renew blood flow, balance hormones, restore energy, and dramatically improve your performance. Without drugs, without guesswork, and without waiting years for results. In fact, some men feel a difference in just weeks once they start replenishing what's been missing. You solve everything for everyone else. You take care of the house, work, race against time. But what about you? How many times have you put off your health? What starts as a simple symptom can become a chronic problem, but it can also be treated before, with the right guidance. There is a simple and powerful way to give your body the care it's asking for, and it's in the pinned comment. Your health can't wait any longer. And now, let's talk about a vitamin you probably haven't thought about when it comes to your performance. Folate. Yes, folate, also known as vitamin B9. You might have heard about it in the context of pregnancy health, but it plays a surprisingly crucial role in male sexual function too. Folate is deeply involved in producing red blood cells and supporting proper circulation. And since erections are fundamentally a blood flow event, this makes folate far more relevant than most people realize. But there's more. Folate is also key in producing neurotransmitters, those chemical messengers that regulate mood, motivation, and yes, desire. A deficiency here might not just make you feel physically off. It can leave you feeling emotionally disconnected, tired, or apathetic. Even more fascinating, research has shown that low folate levels are significantly associated with erectile dysfunction. In one study published in Andrology, Men with ED had notably lower folate levels compared to healthy men. And when folate was supplemented, many of them experienced measurable improvement in erectile strength and frequency. So if your diet's low in leafy greens, beans, or fortified grains, and you're not supplementing, you might be short on this vitamin without even knowing it. But we're not done yet. Let's go one level deeper into a vitamin that works hand in hand with folate, vitamin B6. Without B6, folate can't do its job effectively. And B6, on its own, is essential for making serotonin and dopamine, those feel-good brain chemicals that drive motivation, confidence, and arousal. Have you ever had days where you just didn't feel like yourself? Not exactly sad, but kind of numb, like your spark was gone? That could be a B6 issue. And when your brain chemistry is off, everything else follows, including your ability to perform. B6 also plays a big role in reducing homocysteine levels, a compound that, when elevated, damages the inner lining of blood vessels and impairs circulation. High homocysteine is linked to heart disease, but it also affects the tiny arteries that supply blood to the penis. So if your B6 levels are low, your risk of both heart issues and performance problems rises. And here's where it gets really interesting. B6, folate, and B12 work as a trio to lower homocysteine and protect vascular health. When one is missing, the whole system gets disrupted. And let's not forget about CoQ10. While technically not a vitamin, it's a vitamin-like compound. It deserves a place in this conversation. CoQ10 is essential for energy production at the cellular level. Think of it as the spark plug inside every cell that helps convert nutrients into usable energy. And it's especially concentrated in organs that use a lot of energy, like the heart, the brain, and yes, the reproductive system. Without enough CoQ10, cells can't function optimally, and you feel it as fatigue, weakness, and lower stamina. In fact, studies have shown that men with lower levels of CoQ10 tend to have reduced sperm motility, lower testosterone, and more frequent performance issues. Now, here's something you probably didn't expect to hear in a video like this. Many of the medications commonly prescribed to men, especially statins and blood pressure meds, actually deplete CoQ10 levels. That means you could be following your doctor's orders, taking your meds faithfully, and still silently sabotaging your performance by stripping your body of the very nutrients it needs to function. If you're on one of those medications, talk to your provider about supplementing with CoQ10. It's not just a small detail, it could be a game changer. So now let's pull back for a second. We've talked about vitamin D, the B vitamins, C, E, K2, folate, magnesium, zinc, and CoQ10. All of them work together to support strong, lasting erections. But what happens if you start optimizing them? What could change? Here's what you might notice, often within weeks. First, morning erections return. That's often the first sign your body is back online, your testosterone is rising, and your circulation is improving. Then, you might start feeling more mentally sharp, more confident, and more energized throughout the day. Your mood evens out. That low-grade frustration and brain fog that used to follow you like a shadow starts to lift. Next, your drive comes back. And we don't just mean libido, we mean the drive to show up fully in your life, to pursue your goals, to take action, to reconnect in your relationships. And it doesn't stop there. As your circulation improves, you may find you recover faster from workouts. Your sleep improves. Your stress levels go down, not just because of the vitamins themselves, but because your body isn't constantly fighting to function with half its normal fuel. The internal pressure eases, and things that used to feel like uphill battles, whether it's work, intimacy, or focus, start to feel manageable again. Because this isn't just about sex. It's about quality of life. It's about getting your vitality back. It's about restoring the parts of you that you thought were just getting older. And it starts with something as simple and overlooked as micronutrients. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if I'm low in these vitamins? Great question. Some signs are obvious, like fatigue, muscle cramps, poor sleep, mood swings, or frequent infections, but others are more subtle, like erectile issues that seem to come out of nowhere, or a drop in desire that doesn't match your life circumstances. If you've ruled out psychological causes and you're still struggling, your nutrient status deserves a closer look. Blood tests can help, but so can paying attention to your body. Think about your energy in the morning. Think about how you feel after meals. Are you bloated, sluggish, craving sweets? Are your workouts getting harder, not easier? Are you relying on caffeine more than ever just to feel normal? These are all red flags that your body might be running on empty, and no amount of motivation can override a physical deficiency. So what should you do? Start by upgrading your diet. Build your meals around whole, nutrient-rich foods. Focus on dark, leafy greens, fatty fish, nuts, seeds, eggs, and colorful vegetables. Add in organ meats if you're open to it. Liver, for example, is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Then, consider strategic supplementation. Not a generic multivitamin that passes through your system without absorption, but targeted doses of the nutrients we've talked about, based on real science, real dosages, and real impact. And here's one more thing to keep in mind. Even if you eat well, stress, alcohol, medications, and poor sleep can still deplete your vitamin stores. That's why restoring balance isn't just about adding vitamins. It's about protecting the ones you already have. That means prioritizing rest, getting sunlight, cutting back on processed foods, and reducing toxins that rob your body of its ability to absorb what you give it. Remember this, your body is designed to thrive, but it can't thrive without the raw materials. And when you give it what it needs, without shortcuts, without gimmicks, you unlock a version of yourself that you may not have seen in years. The version that wakes up with energy. The one who feels strong, confident, and grounded in his own skin. You don't need a miracle drug. You need real support. And it starts with giving your body the 9 vitamins it's been missing all along. Now that you know how to restore blood flow, hormone balance, and energy using nutrients your body already understands, don't stop here. Watch the next video on screen, where we dive deeper into the foods that supercharge male performance naturally, because your next breakthrough might be one bite away.